What's going on, you guys? Lit Man Tuck is back at it again with another review for you, and today I'm going to review War Aeternus 2, and it has to be one of my favorite books of the series. And the funny thing is, you're going to hear me say this every single book that I read in the series. Now, this book, I like the first book because they were moving around a lot and it was going on different missions and quests and building up the levels. And on this book, he's leveled up a little bit. He has a follower, Miller. So Lee is the main character as a reminder, but he has a follower named Miller, who's a furbog. And a furbog is kind of like a barbarian style race where they're real big on, they get plus and bonuses to strength. They get minuses in intelligence and coordination and all that good stuff. But anyway, these characters are starting to develop. He's also building up a little harem too. You know what I'm saying? He's building up a little harem. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in another series. We'll just let that develop as well. But he doesn't do anything with them. They just kind of hang around them, kind of like in an anime. It's really funny. So anyway, Miller is developing. He's become Lee's first follower, because Lee is on a quest to get as many religious followers for Augustus as he can, so he can earn faith points. If he earns enough faith points, he gets to go home for a little bit and take a little vacation at the house, and it doesn't bother time. So if he goes home for 100 years and he comes back to the world, no time passes. And so he's really interested in getting these faith points. But anyway, he's on a quest with Lee and his boy Miller and Ling, a couple of the girls or whatever, and they run into some furballs because they're trying to go on a mission, and these furballs tried to ambush them and rob them. So they killed them. It was straight up self-defense. So they was like, let's figure out what we're gonna do. So they go to the city. They chop off their heads, of course, but they go to the city and they report it, and they say, hey man, these fools tried to rob us, so we chopped off their heads. You know what I'm saying? We just wanted to let y'all know. But what they didn't know is that, that town was basically racist against humans. And it's crazy in these times right now that, they're talking about social injustices in the book. But anyway, so Lee was unfairly ambushed and taken to jail. He was basically put in a dungeon, and almost the entire book, he's basically locked up in prison, and they're making him fight as a gladiator. And so in this book, it is very fun because he has to go against all manner of opponents, and he's finding all these creative ways to kill the opponents. I don't want to spoil it. I'm not really good at not spoiling it because I like to talk about this stuff. I really like this stuff, man. But he is fighting the whole time in the arena and building up these skills and fighting different monsters and different types of people and leprechauns and all sorts of stuff. And the leprechauns in this book is not the little thing, the little Lucky Charms or whatever dude, like the little short 1 foot dudes. Like leprechauns are pretty buff in this book. They're a lot different than the leprechauns that we come to know. And so he goes through the entire book. He's fighting, and while he's locked up in the pen, he meets a couple of guys. Don't want to spoil it too much, but eventually they bust out, and he has a couple of more people for his team. And so that's really all I'm going to tell you right now. But it's very exciting. I like this book. Because it gets even funnier as these characters starts to develop. Miller, he has me laughing the whole time. Now, some people that are a little bit too serious, they might listen to this book or read this book and be like, man, Miller is kind of over the top. He's a wacky character, but I absolutely love it. He's earned a boon. He has a special area effect where it's called a drunken shout. So basically he slams his spear on the ground, he shouts, and everybody within a certain radius, including him, gets drunk. And so if you're a lightweight and you're not used to drinking, then you're going to be real inebriated. Now, when they get into bar fights and he does a drunken shout, it doesn't really affect them. But when they go out and they fight monsters and the monsters never had a sip of alcohol, he does that drunken shout. The monster is totally incapacitated. So it's really awesome, man. Lee has a lot of different unique little craft skills and stuff like that. And just the way he uses his familiars is very fun. So like I said, folks, I recommend all these books. I've read it dozens of times, and I'm going to go to book 3 next. So hopefully this is helpful. But like I always say, if you find this book enjoyable and you've read a book that's also enjoyable that I may not have read, then I want you to refer that book to me so I can check it out. And then I'll do a review on it. But that's all I got, man. Lit Man Tuck, and I'm out.